We've killed deer with rifles, we've killed deer with bows, we've killed deer with cars. But now I want to challenge myself to finally kill a deer with a handgun. And since I'm already tagged out in Kentucky, I packed up all my stuff, headed out to North Carolina to meet up with my buddy, Braden Price. Now, Braden is the first person I ever knew to actually hunt with a pistol. And I've been watching him hunt for a pistol for literally years. He's killed a ton of different bucks with pistols, and he's even reached out and got some pigs and a fox with his pistol as well. Once I arrived in North Carolina, I met up with Braden and his friends Peter and Garrett. After I took a little tour of Braden's compound, I headed back to Braden's camper, where I'm actually gonna be staying for the rest of the week. All right, guys, it is officially day one at the BP compound. Slept pretty good, can't complain. Since I got in late last night, we didn't want to hunt this morning, but we are going to be hunting this evening. But as for the middle of the day, we're going to be taking my 10mm down to his gun range and actually shoot it around. You know, we got to get more comfortable with it. But anyways, to start our morning, we're actually heading on inside, and Braden's going to show us some of the bucks that he has on camera at the property we're going to. No guarantee we're going to see any of these bucks, but it's good to know what's in the area just in case they walk by. As I creepily snuck through Braden's back door, I realized nothing was stirring, not even a mouse. So I came on outside, and it turns out Braden actually wouldn't wake up for the next 2 hours. Since I can't just pull out my 10mm and start blasting in his backyard, I went ahead and pulled out my bow and got a few shots in. Real nice and early. Oh, that's not good. All right, he finally woke up. Sleeping Beauty's awake.
I needed my beauty sleep, man.
I got it. We ready.
Here's some of the bucks we actually have in the area. So here's some hogs to start off with. These jokers just showed up on the power line, and hopefully we get a chance at them. Here's a big buck we call Popeye. He's blind in his left eye, so we named him Popeye, and girlfriend's been trying to kill him. Here's a young deer we've passed a lot this year. He's got a broke eye guard, so it's pretty easy to recognize him, but we see him all the time on the power line. A little 10-point we got on camera right here. There's a high possibility we might see this deer if we hunt the power line, just because he has been coming there every single night, but he's a little 2-year-old 10-point. And here's a deer I want to let Kendall shoot. Now this deer right here, we call him Patches. I actually shot this deer with a 50 BMG last year, and he didn't die. He just showed back up 8 hours later. We got a bunch of does, obviously. Does are always everywhere down there. Can't kill enough of them. I'm ready to see what we kill.
But without further ado, we loaded up Braden's Defender, hopped in the truck, and headed on down to Braden's Deer Club, where we're going to be using as a home base to hunt these deer. Think you got a few trail cameras on this tree or what?
That's a security tree.
Okay.
Ain't nobody taking it. Come check out the clubhouse. Word! You need to get the heat on. This is my bedroom.
Sweet. Deer heads everywhere. Bunch of old pictures. It's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, there's my dad. Here's a 1980s spoiler dad bought brand new, Honda 300.
Were all these killed here?
Yeah.
Where was that caught at?
I think here in that pond.
In that pond that used to be here?
There used to be stories. They have videos of them going back to back 8-pounders.
Dude, dang.
There was a lot more mounts there. Another little one. This place has some history.
This is the home away from home. All right, so now that we're here, what's the game plan?
We're gonna shoot guns.
All right, so BP, what made you start hunting with a pistol in the first place?
So back in the day, 2016, 2017, me and Dad, we bought our first handguns, or at least I got my first. And I kept throwing out the idea, like, we should hunt with them. It's a Glock 40. Dad, with this handgun, I kind of stole it from him. He's probably killed 15 deer with it.
Wow.
I've probably killed 5 or 6 with it. A rest is key when you're shooting a handgun, especially long range.
Okay.
Inside 20 yards, you know the rest isn't that important, but you start shooting 50, 60 yards, you want to have a solid rest.
So what do you use as a rest?
So a lot of stands, they'll have a rail. You can take the trigger guard and just shove it up into it.
Oh, really?
That's solid. Sometimes just resting the butt and finding a good anchor point this way, balling up your fist. However you gotta do to get steady. These 10 mils are money. They are money.
We're at 100 yards, and he's gonna show us what he can do with his. And then I'm gonna see if I can get on that level in the next 5 minutes. You hit it.
Yeah, see if I can hit it again.
There you go. That's crazy.
It's crazy, man. I love it. Let's try to hit the 6-inch plate.
There you go.
That's crazy, man.
I sighted mine in roughly at about 40. So let me just try it.
Yeah, try it?
I'll try it.
Let's see it, Kendall. What you got, bud?
His is the Glock. Mine's just the SIG X10.
Yep.
We'll see. I don't know.
Hit it. Hit it. Let's go. Yeah.
I'll go for the small one just to see if the red dot's sighted in.
Yeah, hit it. Try to hit a 6-inch. Hit it.
Nice.
Low left.
Okay.
Hit it.
Is that good enough to kill it here at 40 yards?
Oh, yeah.
I probably won't shoot one at 100, but if one comes in within 60 and I have a good rest,
You're
I feel like I
solid.
can probably do that.
Solid.
And now it's officially time for our first hunt in North Carolina. Now, since the wind was blowing in the wrong direction to hunt the pistol stands, we decided to go to a different stand and take the rifles to try to harvest some does. All right, guys, it's been about 3 hours since we shot the guns. My voice is completely gone. I may or may not be completely dead by nightfall. I'm just gonna whisper, because if I whisper, you can't tell that I lost my voice. Out at Braden's lease, there's literally a ton of does, and at this point, we're just gonna try to harvest some meat, which we're gonna be cooking up later in this video, and I'm gonna be showing you one of my favorite recipes to cook up some deer. For this hunt, since we were in the big blind, we were actually able to talk a little bit. We had a great time hunting in there. We saw a few does, but they were unfortunately across the property line. Braden did actually get an opportunity to shoot a bobcat, but unfortunately, we went down to look at it. We found fur, we found blood, but we just did not find it. On day 2, the wind for the pistol stands was literally perfect. So we loaded up our 10 millimeters and headed on into the stand. As we was walking in, we realized there was actually deer at the feeder while we were walking in. So we slowed it down a little bit and tried to make a stalk on them.
Easy. Not good. I don't think any of the bucks were with them.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be okay for buck hunting.
So now our game plan is just sit here and wait for the ambush. Keep our eyes open, and here we go.
You hit her. Right behind us, right behind us. Let's go.
Alright, well, we just smacked a doe. We're not gonna check it until dark because, you know, potentially another buck could come in. The wind's right, so we're just gonna hold tight and hope for the best. Here we go.
That deer was so close. I was just telling Kendall, if he had a rifle in his hands, he couldn't have got that rifle out the window without that deer spooking. I mean, we're 8 foot off the ground, and that deer was at 7 yards. There's no way with a rifle. But Kendall went,
I was like this because I didn't know if I was gonna shoot it. I was like, "You want to shoot it?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like,
just
like that.
exactly
That's
what
exactly
you
what
did.
I did.
I don't know where she was standing because I was watching through the camera.
She's standing right there.
Dude, 5 yards?
Right, literally right there.
That is awesome. I got my pistol. Maybe I'll smack a doe if a doe comes in. And we'll keep sitting. We'll sit till dark and hopefully get Kendall on one of these bucks. Let's go. Watch her. Watch her. Where'd she go? There she is. There she is.
Did we just get 2 deer down?
I don't know. I didn't have a great prop.
I think she's going down.
I didn't see her come out on the left side. My prop was bad, but she was moving downwind, and she got downwind and smelt us. So I was like, now or never.
You can tell when she was about to run.
Yeah, she was about to get out of there.
Guys, what's crazy is that we're at this stand. At another stand, he just got pictures of like literally like 40 does or something.
Insane.
Like that. So you just have a ton of does.
Deer just moving.
Yeah, we've still got almost an hour and a half of daylight left, so you never know. There could be a buck just come wandering through, not really know what's going on. What we're thinking about doing is getting in one of Braden's buddies as a deer dog, just because even though we're pretty sure they're both like smack down dead, his buddy wants to get his dog out, get it some game time. It'll be cool just watching the dog do his thing and getting some practice in, so that's gonna be pretty fun. Hopefully the dog get a lot of practice, and hopefully we put a third one on the ground. You wanna take it? You got 2 doe tags.
She ain't going far. There's 3.
Later in the evening, after we shot those 3 does, we had a little button buck come out, but once again, since he's a button buck, we definitely don't want to shoot him. And we want to let him grow for at least 2, 3, 4 more years. And hopefully he'll turn into a big old buck. Who knows, maybe I'll get to shoot him in 4 years. But by that time we was done hunting and we headed on out to meet up with the tracking dog.
You remember the deal from the last time.
Yeah. Don't pet her if we'll take the
here.
guns off. 2 of them are 100% dead. The second one we shot, couldn't tell with how the camera shook. I'll probably be the one we go after first just in case.
Let's see what we can do.
How long have you had that dog?
This one, she's 4.5.
Did you train her to be a deer dog?
For blood trailing, yeah. Or well, game recovery.
Okay.
Blood trailing is very misconceptive.
And so since you do game recoveries a lot, how does a 308 do? Do you get many calls for that, or?
It's about the 5th most common.
What's the most common?
6.5.
And whenever you find the 6.5s, how's it do?
The main problem with the 6.5 is they just don't bleed. It'll go in the size of a pencil, it'll come out the size of a pencil, and I mean, when that's the situation, there's not gonna be blood.
So now it's time to let the dog do its thing. Basically, this is a tracking dog, and this dog was even capable of tracking humans or whatever the owner put it on. But in our case, it's here to track deer. And it's actually pretty simple. The dog just gets on the trail of the deer that's wounded and trails the deer all the way up until it finds the deer dead. And one interesting thing I learned is that a wounded deer and a normal deer actually puts off different scents through their foot. So this dog is actually specially trained to only track deer that are wounded.
Got you, person.
And you can tell because on your track collar, she's just sitting still.
Yeah, 90 yards.
Oh yeah, there she is.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so the dog just comes and basically plays with it aggressively.
Yeah. Good girl, Nick.
Got it?
Yeah. Right there, baby. Piled up.
Yeah.
Back off a little bit.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Awesome, Kendall. That one's yours. Let's go. Number 2. That 10 mil puts in work, don't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Better than 6.5.
Yeah, dang near. Did it exit? It should have exited.
Yeah, it did.
Perfect. Yeah, I was about to say that had to exit.
That's the main thing you see with handgun rounds. They don't punch all the way through.
There we go. Number 2 down. Out for the count.
After we found my deer, we put the dog on the other deer, and just like that, it went through and found the other deer with no problem at all. We went ahead, loaded up the deer, and we took them off to get them processed. And this concludes day 2. For day 3, we're still out here looking for that North Carolina buck with a pistol. So we headed out to the stand hoping to see one of those bucks that Braden had showed us 2 days prior. We seen a few does walk in, but unfortunately the big buck just never came out this evening. I guess that's why it's called hunting. We didn't get a buck this trip, but we definitely got a doe, and I'm super happy about it. So let's head on back to Kentucky and let me show you guys how we're gonna cook this thing. Step 1, head to your freezer and pick out which cut of meat you want. On a real note though, take a look at all the meat you get out of one deer. You literally get so much meat, but for today, I actually wanna get some of the deer hamburger. Step 2, thaw out your deer hamburger and put it down in a pan. This is whenever you're gonna get your seasoning and season all that hamburger meat up really good. Then you're gonna turn around, get an onion, chop that bad boy up, and dice that thing into the hamburger meat and go ahead and start cooking. Step 4, once the meat is 95% finished, go ahead and get you some strips of cheese and just layer that all over the top and watch it melt right into the deer meat. Step 5, pull out some buns, put you a big slab of that meat on there, and just like that, you have a deer slider ready to eat. This may just be one of the best things I've ever made. No cap, fam. What are your thoughts on it? This is what I call a deer slider, because it's kind of like weird. It's not like a hamburger, but it kind of is, but it kind of ain't. What do you think?
It's gonna be hard to eat.
What? Why?
Because it's gonna fall off everywhere.
No, you can cook it the same way. Put it on a tortilla, you put it on a roll, whatever you want. Mmm, yummy and not tummy. Now this is a real deal, unlike my last thing I cooked. I just want to say thank you so much, Braden, for having me out there and helping me kill the deer. And big shout out to God for, making deer taste so good. Click right over here if you want to see me hunt hogs in Florida for the first time, or right over here for me killing a bear in Idaho. That was literally awesome.